Hims and Hers is fresh off its first earnings report since going public in late January. The seller of sexual wellness and hair care products saw sales 67% from a year ago, but did rack up a $5.2 million net loss. Joining us now is Hims and Hers co-founder Andrew Dudum. Andrew, good to speak to you again here. How is the business trending so far this quarter? I mean, I was in my supermarkets this past week, and I see a lot more people out. They appear to be spending their stimulus checks. How is the business different now compared to the last 3 months of last year?
You know, we feel really as good as ever for this business. We're seeing both the core Hims categories, which, as you mentioned, are things like sexual health and hair care, as well as some of the new category investments on the Hers side, dermatology, mental health, all seeing really quite exciting acceleration. And so, positioned really well. We raised forecasts this year really materially to between 195 and 205 million in just our fourth year of operation, which is a quite a big step function raise from our last year guidance. So, feeling pretty excited for what this year is to come and Q1 ahead of us.
You did call out this year adjusted operating losses to be 35 million to 45 million. That's a little higher than when we last talked to you. I believe you were at 30 million in January. What are you spending on this year?
We're just seeing increased opportunities to invest. I think coming into this year, as we've diversified the portfolio for Hims and Hers, we're now offering over, a dozen or two different types of products and conditions for different types of customers in need when it comes to their healthcare. And so as we expand that portfolio, we're seeing opportunities across channels, paid social, Google, TV, radio, podcasts, to deploy capital at really efficient returns on investment. And given the size of this market, we're talking about a $4 trillion healthcare market that really has yet to be innovated in and modernized for the consumer. We think it's really prudent to be investing those dollars. And so we're actually really quite excited to be able to raise guidance on the spend side because it means that there's a lot of growth in front of us and there's a lot of profit to be taken off the table here.
Andrew, it's Julie here. So in addition to investing in product, I'm curious about your marketing spend because I know in the fourth quarter you talked about pulling back on ad spend because you were seeing rates go higher, ad rates go higher. How are you thinking about that throughout the year, promoting these new products? I still think of you guys and your edgy subway ads, although there aren't so many people on the subway anymore. So how are you deploying it and how much are you going to be planning to deploy?
Yeah, we have a really unique take on marketing and acquisition, and I think it's a really durable advantage to the business, which is we have so many levers across these channels, we can move flexibly. And so what you saw in Q4, as outlier events such as the presidential election and a huge movement back to commerce for people to try to make their year, right, spending on the holiday season, as those rates went up dramatically, we were able to move exceptionally quickly, reallocate some of those spend dollars to more strategic tailwind channels such as brand marketing. And throughout this year, you'll see the team be just as prudent, deploying where it makes sense, adjusting through channels where it makes sense. I think it's really a feature of our business, which is our ability to move capital very quickly across channels, across categories, and across customers. And to me, that's a really defensible part of this strategy, which is this diversified portfolio of dozens of different conditions and products for all of these consumers in the country.
Andrew, there's been so much focus. I feel as though you guys on the Hims side of the product, because that is what you launched at. A lot of people are familiar with you there, but you just mentioned Hers. What does that business look like? How much in sales are you projecting for this year, and what are you working with on the Hers side of the business?
Yeah, on the Hers side, there's a huge amount of investment, and the women's market for health and wellness, as we know, is absolutely massive. So our focus is really on things like dermatology, hair care, mental health, anxiety, and behavioral health issues. Last year, we launched a full psychiatric suite and just recently launched individual therapy. So anybody can come talk to a psychologist, talk to a therapist quickly and very affordably on the Hers platform. And those categories are really showing robust acceleration. They're some of the fastest growing quarter over quarter categories in our business. That business on the Hers side, doubled in revenue quarter over quarter in Q4. And so we're really putting a lot of time into that business and to invest in the brand awareness side of it because we believe in that opportunity really dramatically.
I was in Target this past weekend, Andrew, and I stumbled upon your products for the first time inside of a Target down the the yawning men's care product line. What other retailers are you in?
You know, the retailers are really excited about Hims and Hers. We've got a brand that is building trust with a young demographic, right? When you think about our customer, they really are representative of the future of the health and wellness space. They're people in their teens and their 20s and their 30s. And these are people that don't have direct relationships with healthcare systems, with doctors, with providers. They don't, in many situations, even know the name of their doctor. And so being able to build a deep relationship with these patients as the front door of the healthcare system over the course of the next 5 and 10 years, as they scale as patients and as more conditions pop up where we can treat them, we think there's an incredible advantage. And so on the retail side of the house, we really think of that investment as a very profitable billboard. We are in hundreds and hundreds of stores across the country, and we'll be in more as the company continues to scale. And it's an ability for patients to see us in a lot of different places, not only online, but as they're browsing in their favorite retailers. And it's about building trust and building deep relationships with them as a partner to them as their front door to the healthcare system.
Andrew, finally, I just quickly wanted to ask you about competition and where you guys stand now in terms of market share. You talk about the enormous market opportunity here, and this is really a nascent category, but you do have some competitors. You guys take sort of a more buzzy approach versus some competitors that are sort of more serious and medically focused, I think it's safe to say. So how do you guys stand in terms of market share, and how are you thinking about competition?
You know, I think there's a tremendous amount of excitement in the health category, which is great, right? You're talking about a $4 trillion market in the United States. And as I've mentioned, this is a market, it's really the last multi-trillion-dollar market in the country that has yet to be modernized with digital technology. And what I mean by that is you can't pick up your phone, click a button, and get access to the full suite of health and wellness products like you can when it comes to food and transportation and clothing and commerce generally. And so over the next 5 and 10 years, there are going to be a lot of winners in this space. And we're excited to be a leader and a consolidator. I think for us, there's a few really durable advantages. One, you've got a unique brand that's going after this future generation, millennials, Generation Z. When you think of the fact that the majority of the country is Generation Y or younger, they're quite young, you see the opportunity over the next 5 and 10 years to build deep relationships with them. I think the other thing is when you look at the diversification of the business and our ability to acquire different types of customers and monetize them directly, this is very different than traditional healthcare. We are one of the only businesses that are going directly towards the customer and monetizing that customer directly. We're not making money off back channel referrals or making money off our, trying to monetize you from an insurance company. We are providing direct access to you at very reasonable prices and real value that people are willing to pay for. And I think that deep relationship with customers and their willingness to pay and our ability to monetize and build relationships with them, I think is going to be an incredibly powerful, durable advantage over the next 5 and 10 years, as you said, more players come into this space and try to take a bite of it.
Hims and Hers co-founder, Andrew Dudum. Good to see you again. Good luck this quarter. We'll talk to you soon.